मोतीलाल ओसवाल फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज के चेयरमैन और को फाउंडर रामदेव अग्रवाल जी से हमारे साथ मैनेजिंग एडिटर से खास बातचीत में उन्होंने कहा कि बैंक, फाइनेंशियल और आईटी कंपनियों के मुनाफे में सबसे ज्यादा बढ़त देखने का अनुमान है। बाजार को लेकर उनका और क्या नजरिया है, आइए आपको सुनवा देते हैं ये खास बातचीत।
So right now, the largest profit pool in India, which is growing also, is that of banks, financial services, and second is the IT. Okay. IT has had the most dramatic profit pool expansion from 2000. In 2000, it was not even a percentage of the total profit pool. Today, it is more like 15-17% and growing. And there is no year when it has not gained little share. So my sense is IT story is much bigger. You don't have to stick to the current set of those top big companies. They might give you 10-15% index return or something like that. But below that, there will be a lot of companies which will try to come into the big league. So there will be mid-sized companies which will, because their economics still remain great. And then you have the new set of kind of small companies which are coming up, product companies, AI companies. And so there will be specialized services companies which will be coming up, where the cost structure is in India and the clients are all in US and Europe. So I think that business model has huge potential. We have done in last 20 this is a 23-24 year story of Indian IT. First $100 billion took about 20 years to get it, and next $100 billion came in just about 8-10 years. The third $100 billion, I'm not talking about a small number. Third $100 billion, I believe, is going to come in 4 to 5 years. So that's the nature of expansion, and there the players who are going to be disproportionately large, I think they'll make it, and we should be aligned to that.
A couple of years ago, you made this very famous presentation, the next $1 trillion opportunity.
That was in 2008 we made
exactly.
that. Yeah.
So if you have to make that presentation again, I'm sure the contours would change. So if you have to make that presentation for next 10 years, how will that presentation start? How will that presentation end?
No, the one is that starting scale. When we did in 2007, it was $1 trillion. We have already gone from 1 trillion to 3 trillion. So a lot of things what we said at that point of time, we should examine whether they turn out to be so. So clearly the discretionary spend, when you go from say 3.5 to 7 and 7 to 10 in next 10-12 years, that's the journey. Now one has to believe that this journey is bound to happen, like 90%, I would say 90-95% probability that this is going to happen. So we are there. Now we have to see how to encash on that. How do we position? First thing is we have to be, if go by my 100% allocated in equity. Okay. So at least that
don't time the market.
Don't time the market. 10-12% index return must come to us. So that is one thing. Now within that, there will be a lot of opportunities of value migration and market share gains, because digital power, digital economy is not very democratic. It's very consolidating. So winner takes it all. Even in a very not digital businesses, like say food delivery, there are only 2 guys to start with. They have not made a penny, and yet there are only 2 guys. So all the profits of this particular industry will be taken by 2 guys. So like that, we are going to see, say banking. The banking pool, profit pool this year is upwards of 2 lakh crores. Okay, and in next 5 years, it will be more like 4 to 5 lakh crores. In 10 years' time, could be about 10 lakh crores. In that profit pool, who is going to win? So there will be some digital players coming in, and they'll make it very big in next 5-7 years. Now, who is that guy? Who is that successful guy who is going to make it? That one has to spot. But I'm quite sure in this spaces, some digitally powered companies will come and compound at 50, 60, 70%. And what for HDFCs of the world, which itself has done wonderful job at about 25% compounded. If you take it to 35%. At 35%, it is just double, huh? Yeah. Compounding at 25 and compounding at 35 is just double the pace. Yeah. So if you can get something at 35% compounded in 10 years, you can do wonders.
There's a class of 21. We're using this term called class of 21 companies which went public between 2021 and 2022.
Some of them will definitely make it.
You think some of them could make it big?
Sure, because that hype is busted now. There's no more hype. Last year, we were in November, December last year, there was a lot of hype, crazy kind of valuation. And so those things are gone. 60-70% corrections happened now. Can it correct another 20%? That you cannot take it away. But now the promoters have also come to the senses. They also want to make profit. They want to make profit very quickly. And in any case, they want to make large profits. So some of them will be very successful, and some of the companies are very unique. I mean, there are no Me Too companies in that particular segment. So I think if there is a profit pool, if the consumer behavior has changed in some of the companies, clearly digital empowered companies are the companies where you can see few 1 lakh crore, 5 lakh crores companies coming in very quickly. I mean, if at all it has to happen, it will happen very fast. Otherwise, they'll just fall by the wayside.
When Zomato went public, you went on record and you said, look, you're not betting big, but you are open to exploring how this business is evolving. Has Zomato, any other business, any other companies where you invested in, have those businesses evolved as per your expectations?
See, this has been very dramatic. Last 1.5 years has been very dramatic from the, I mean, we are in listed space, so we cannot not take notice of what is happening to the stocks. So